Yo, today I want to give you guys a lesson on tricking terminology. Learning what the names of the skills are in this sport is super important if you want to progress and understand what you're learning and how to learn it well and fast. So today I'm going to show you guys a bunch of different resources. We have 5 in total, and first we're going to go to the one that I used when I started tricking, club540.com. So go to your friend Google right here, hit oh no, just ignore. I'm gonna blur out all of that chat history. That's so funny. Okay, just type in club 540. Boom. Boom, right here, the Trictionary, the OG Trictionary. So this website has a lot of amazingly helpful tools that you can use. First off, the tricks are categorized as absolute novice, beginner, intermediate, advanced, expert level, and finally elite tricks. I think there's one more, the what the F tricks. Yes, for all those crazy skills that just are these, do we give these names? And then extra skills for like different like variations you can add in and different changes to the tricks. So if you go up and like you want to learn what the basics of tricking are, just go to the beginner section and click around to skills. When you click on one, you'll get a little GIF over here on the side that shows you what the skill is supposed to look like. So for the aerial switch, let me get myself out of the way. Yep. For the aerial switch, you'll see it's a trick where you're just pushing, doing an aerial, and then switching your legs right at the peak. So going through and just finding what tricks look good for you and what tricks feel comfortable, and then working a progression off of that is something you can totally do on this website. That said, my big disclaimer on Club 540, the absolute novice tricks, some of them are absolute novice tricks. Some of them are absolutely not. And the terminology is a little weird, you know? It's a little old school mainstream. Like 360 front kick, this is a tornado kick. For some reason they call it 360 front. For some reason they put back layout as an absolute novice trick, which doesn't make any sense to me. Being able to do a standing back layout is not a novice thing. All right, let me show you guys the next resource we're gonna go to, which is the Loop Kicks Trictionary, which is a phenomenal resource if you guys want to learn like a lot of the more new style terminology, more TKT based, more based on like naming things in an exact way. Like if you go to the variations section, they kind of will cover a few variations like round, hyper hook and hook, axe. And this kind of gives you an idea of how to add to your tricks. And one thing I like most about loop kicks is they explore landing stances very, very well. This is a 4 seasons combo because it includes a mega, a semi, a complete, and a hyper. That is what makes it a 4 seasons combo, is that it includes all 4 of the landing stances commonly used in tricking in swinging motions. At least that is to my understanding. Different people will call different things different names. And I know that just makes it all the more complicated, but that's just the reality that we're living in. So this will give you a lot of good stuff on like stances, variations. They also go over transitions with a particularly unique kind of way to do it. They do it unified, singular, sequential. Unified as in you're taking off of 2 feet at the same time. Singular, you're taking off of 1 foot. And sequential, you're kind of going 1, 2 on 1 foot then the other. Like for example, they're unified are punch, pop, reverse pop, and bound. Now I kind of think these are good. I really like using transitions, but I think at some point you can just overcomplicate your combos. Like if I'm just gonna do a bunch of gainer switches, I'm not gonna say gainer switch, swing through, gainer switch, swing through, gainer switch. I'm just gonna say gainer switch times X, however many I do. because that's just what's convenient for me when naming the skills. Yep, they got wrap through, miss leg, which is like a bounce. All of their examples are a corkscrew and complete though. Clearly their website still needs a little bit of work, but I like what they're going with. They're really like trying to explore this and going deep into it. And then you can get to the sequential takeoffs, which is like your vanish, your reversal, excuse me, your redirect, stuff like that. Now they name tricks in a particularly interesting way too. They have their vertical tricks, and then they have backwards and forwards tricks for tricks that start like swinging backwards, or tricks that start like facing backwards and facing forwards. And then the inside and outside is like swinging backwards and swinging forwards. So you can see they just have a bunch of names. A lot of these are mainstream names. Some of them are more new school names. But if you click on a lot of these, you'll get a really good example GIF that shows you exactly what the trick is. So this is like Pop Fei Long. I learned this just as Fei Long. I didn't put the pop in front of it. But the like really extended name, which they put here, which I really like, is Pop 180 Fei Long, which is a very, very good example. And then like we can go to the inside tricks, which will have things like your cartwheels, your scoot, your palm kick, your master scoot, your aerial mega, stuff like that that revolves around the inside of your body. I find this terminology system very good. The only thing that I find it's a little bit of a struggle with is it's hard to lump all tricks into 5 categories. And this is something that you just run into with any sort of terminology system. Like there's so many weird tricks that you need so many different terminology like sections. And then at that point, it's just, you're writing another book. It's just a giant amount of information that you need to consume when it comes to tricking terminology. But if you go through this website and just scroll through, look at that. We can learn, D-leg X out hyperhook. I've never seen this variation. Let's check this out. Oh, it's so funny. I learned this as a crowd awakener hyperhook, but they're calling it D-leg X out hyperhook, which is very similar. The only difference would be like the nuances of, are you kicking 2 side kicks out in the air, or are you doing a straddle? In reality, that's the only big difference between a double leg X out and a crowd awakener. Both of them are pretty much the same thing. Now, we're gonna go from here and go somewhere that everybody should go. Kojo's Trick Lab. And if you go to the description of all my YouTube videos, you will find our affiliate link to Kojo's Trick Lab. I think all of our viewers already have Kojo's Trick Lab, so not a lot of people have used the affiliate link, but if you want the best tricking tutorials and like very nuanced things, like once you find a trick that you like on Club 540 or on the Loop Kicks Trictionary, go to Kojo's Trick Lab, put in your login info, because there is a paywall. Again, get a little discount in the description. But after that, you can go through and watch the best tricking tutorials around. I honestly believe that the Kojo's Trick Lab tutorials are some of the best. You'll find a few of my tutorials on there as well. It's just a really good site. And they're also doing things right now like the Tricking Report with Malcolm Johnson. I really like this series, and it's really highlighting a lot of the important communities that are in tricking and what they're doing in the community. So I'm just a huge fan. Guys, if you're not already a part of Kojo's Trick Lab, which I think a lot of you are, go check it out. Go there. Please, it is one of the best places. Let's move on to where I think is the best free place to learn tricking terminology. Good old YouTube. Good old YouTube. Going to YouTube, going to the search bar and typing in tricking variations or just tricking names. You know what? I'm gonna type in tricking names, see what we get. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at our dude. Look at our dude. Johannes is always making really good videos and putting them onto YouTube. shout out to the ad. He's always putting on really good videos onto YouTube, and watching a video like this that goes through a bunch of skills with text on the screen is one of the best ways to learn tricking terminology. The nice thing about that too is you can just sit back, relax, and consume the information. You don't really need to stress out about it. You can just kind of watch, and while you watch somebody do the tricks, you can kind of visualize yourself doing them, and you get the names as well. Not only that, but every tricker on YouTube, myself included, has a slightly different way of naming their skills. And if you go through and consume all of them, you'll learn way more about how to do the skills and how they work. And all of that is super important and super helpful. Now, I'm gonna take a minute to boot it up, but I wanna show you the last thing that I recommend everybody use if you want to not only learn tricking terminology, but get a feel for what tricking looks like, how you should film your tricks, and how you should move and space yourself on the floor while tricking. The final thing I think you guys need to use to learn tricking terminology and to just get such a better understanding of the sport is the tricking game, the pre-alpha, which you can get on the Instagram at tricking.videogame. He's working on a new one that should be out relatively soon. And if you go in the game, you can go through and go to the instructions, and that will show you not only how to play the game, what the inputs are, it'll give you the basic kicks that you're supposed to do, and then you can go through and see all these different skills that are named. And if the names are super confusing, again, go to the resources I mentioned earlier, because this will teach you terminology, but more important than that, it'll give you a better understanding for how your body is supposed to move for tricking. Because I think the animation within the game is really well done. You can do a bunch of skills like backflip, you can do Arabian. I'll show you guys a few. Like straight up, backflip, boom, backflip step out. You can backflip step out, I'm gonna sneeze. Bless me. You can backflip step out, swing gainer switch, and just rep out a ton of gainer switches. You can also do like skills that you might not be able to do right now. Like one thing I've been working at the session a ton that I straight up cannot do right now is a touchdown rise, triple cork. Oh, touchdown rise, triple cork. Like I've been working this skill so much, and doing it in the game just kind of gives me a better feel for when I'm gonna do it at the session. And you can kind of space out where combos are gonna make you travel as you trick. Like you can do like really fun things, like you can do like aerial, and you can do a bunch of GMSs. Like the game just has so many options, and it gives you an idea for how your body is supposed to move, really, when you're tricking. And you can also do like really fun things. Like you can do like, what's a good example? You can cartwheel and wrap full. Like, it's just got a ton of options. And if you want to learn tricking and just kind of have fun with it, and especially if like you're injured and you can't like dive headfirst into like the very physicality parts of the sport, playing the tricking game. It's a really fun thing to do, and it supports people within the community. Guys, go get the game. You do need an Xbox controller to play it. It runs on Unity. It's a super fun thing. I'm gonna run through a few rounds here on twitch.tv/masteringtricking. Come through, please. I do stream as much as I can, and at least as much as I can while trying to make gains in the year of the dub. But also, post a sampler on reddit.com/r/masteringtricking, so that way you can win a free copy of How to Get Good at Tricking. We'll be giving away 2 to people who create samplers and post them on the subreddit. So guys, check that out. But with all that said, please have a lovely day. Do the best of things and get some training done. Learn something about terminology, because it is really important. It is very important to learn the names of the skills.